Author Sophie Kinsella has sold 48 million books. Isn't that astonishing? In more than 60 countries, from, of course, the Undomestic Goddess to Can You Keep a Secret? And, of course, the hit Shopaholic series as well. But Sophie's latest work, well, it's kind of semi-autobiographical and it's her most personal book yet. What Does It Feel Like is about a renowned writer facing a devastating cancer diagnosis, really based on Sophie's own brain cancer. And she joins me now. It's so good to see you. I know this is your first TV interview and this is fantastic. It really is.
You.
It's absolutely, I mean, it's very moving and it's funny as well.
Good. I wanted to write a book that wasn't gloomy but found the comedy.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I'm really glad.
No, you have. You absolutely have. It's astonishing because you woke up in hospital after surgery on your brain tumour. It's an 8-hour operation. I didn't remember a thing. Your husband had to tell you what had happened to you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Gosh.
It was absolutely bizarre. And that's in the book as well, what
Yes.
it's like to have lost your memory. And I lost my short-term memory. So I would be told what had happened and I'd go, oh, yes, thank you, I understand that now. And then the next day I'd forgotten.
Gosh, that must be so strange. Just as well you've got him.
Oh, honestly, I couldn't have survived. But
No.
it was hard for him.
Of course.
Because it's really hard to tell somebody bad news. It's hard. You get upset yourself, you see their reaction, and he had to tell me more than once, over and over, this bad news, you've got cancer and it's incurable. I don't know how he did it. I think that's where he showed his greatest love for me.
Yes.
Was doing that patiently and never once sort of expecting me to remember, always understanding that, you know, my brain wasn't the same.
No, not the same, but you can still write, Sophie. That's the thing, you've still got that. You know, whatever was going on in your brain and whatever affected it, you know, this horrible tumour, it hasn't affected your fantastic ability to write.
I feel so lucky. And do you know what? I lay in hospital and I thought, well, that's it. I'll never write a book again. Because when I first was, you know, woke up after this operation, I couldn't think straight. I couldn't walk. I couldn't hold a pen. I couldn't write. I tried to sign.
Yeah.
I practiced signing Sophie Kinsella. It was an absolute mess. I was all over the place. And I thought, but even then, I knew that what I was going through was so surreal and powerful and extreme that if I possibly could, I would want to write about it one day. I would want to process it into a story. And so do you know what I did? I got my phone and I put it on dictate function, which is genius. And I would just get my phone and say, today this happened and this happened and this happened.
So you remembered?
So that I would remember it.
Right. Okay.
And I didn't even know what I would do with that material.
Right.
Because I still felt so far off writing a book. But I thought, well, maybe I'll be interested one day. Maybe my children will be interested.
Yeah.
And it was only months later when I was stronger and wanting to write again that I realised I could piece together all these notes I'd made and remember what it was like. And that's the title of the book, What Does It Feel Like?
What does it feel like?
Because it really is. It's like visceral. It's like, what does it feel like to have this happen to you and have your life turned upside down? And it's horrendous, but it also is, you know, I found moments of joy. I found moments of comedy.
Yep.
Moments of acceptance, moments of denial. It's
all in here?
It's so many things all at once.
Did it help you writing? Did it somehow, yeah?
It really did. It really did. I think when your life spins out of control, which it did, and you have to hand over your body to medical professionals, my mind was handed over as well because it wasn't the same. You know, you grasp around for a way to make sense of life and for a way to take back control. And when I wrote What Does It Feel Like, I could make my own story.
Right.
I could tell it in the way that made sense to me, and I could give myself a happy ending, very important. I could make it positive.
Yeah.
I could turn this extreme event into something that was hopeful and optimistic and full of love, because my journey has been full of love.
It has. I mean, we did mention your lovely husband, Nick, and this is what I love about him. In the morning, every morning, he brings you a cup of tea in bed and a story.
He does. He
gives
brings
you
me a story. So what he does is he gets up really early, way before me.
Right.
He goes and reads basically the entire internet.
Yeah.
And he looks for stories about cancer, about trials, about how long people have survived, all the things that would be encouraging. Never the bad stuff.
Right.
Always the good stuff. And he comes to me and I say, give me a good story. And he says, well, there was somebody in America and they had exactly what you have and they lasted this long and they're doing well and here's a picture of them. And it cheers me up so much. And I'll be honest, I hope that I am now someone else's positive story because, you know, I'm lasting, I'm fine, I'm well, I'm still under treatment, but, you know, surviving it really well.
Yeah.
And it's really important, I think, to know that you're not alone. Other people are going through this, and guess what? They're thriving.
No, they are. And for you, for Henry, for the kids, for everybody, there is that thing of, and I know it's a cliche, but it doesn't matter, seizing the day. You know, that sort of thing. So every day to you is even more precious than it was before.
Yes.
And it has to be, doesn't it?
We have really focused in on enjoying the days that we have and not thinking about, you know, happy ever after, but thinking happy now.
Happy now.
Happy now.
Yes.
Happy today.
Yes.
And we have this little ritual now, before we go to bed, we go over the events of the day. I have to be honest, this slightly began because I would forget the events of the day.
Right, and just to remind you, no, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
But it's actually a really good little bedtime routine. And you just say, well, we had this lovely meal, we saw this friend, we went for a walk and we saw that lovely view. Or even just we got a nice email. Yeah. Just remember what happened, register it. Yeah. And it makes you feel really good about the day.
It's a brilliant attitude that I think we all should have. You're writing again, aren't you? You're writing.
I am.
You never stop. You're writing the next one.
I can't help myself.
Well, it's what you do.
It's what you do. I tell stories.
I know.
It's just what I do. And I'm, you know, having to slightly struggle with a scattered brain, but I just have more notes than ever, more documents than ever, and I still do the dictating.
Yes.
I love that.
It's a good idea.
An idea comes into your head and you just dictate it into your phone. Technology is a wonderful thing.
It's an amazing thing, Sophie. It's a wonderful thing. Now, look, you're going to be in Liverpool today because, again, you don't stop. You're still going out there. You're still meeting your readers.
I can't wait.
And you're going to be meeting them all later on today, aren't you?
I feel so connected to my readers.
Oh, they feel so connected.
And if any readers are watching this, I would just like to say thank you so much, because when I shared my news on social media, I was blown away. The response, the support, the love, the good wishes, you know, it was just meant such a lot. But to get out there and meet readers face to face, as I'm sure you know, it's just
lovely.
so special.
It really is.
We feel so connected through the books.
Yeah, and your books mean such a lot to people. You know, they really do. Any reader that's read your books, you know, there's that connection. And I love that.
I always feel it's as if we've got a mutual friend.
Yes.
Because it's I say to people, do you know Becky Bloomwood? And they say, yes, I do.
I know.
And it's like we've got a friend in common.
It's fantastic. It really is. Now, look, what does it feel like out today?
Yes.
And it's obviously going to do incredibly well. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. It really is.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you so much for coming in. You've just cheered us all up, Sophie. You really have. You're a smasher. Thank you very, very much indeed. And good luck in Liverpool.
Oh, thank you very much.
Enjoy.
Yes, it'll be brilliant.